I love this quote I love the quotes you read too. I have a few of those in my notes too. Susan, perfect. But Greg Braden was a scientist and deals with a lot of heady things, but he really realized the power of the heart as more than just the vessel, the muscle that pumps blood into our body and keeps us alive. But it's so much more than that. And he's worked with an organization called the Heart-Mind Organization, where they're studying the relationship between the mind and the heart. And they found that the heart carries energy. We might call it our aura, our energy, our vibe, whatever. And as far as the machines at this organization, they've read it going out 5 miles. They've tested it going out 5 miles. That's the power that we have. And that's it. It's not limited at 5 miles, but that's just as far as their machine will test it. But that's what we have within us right here in this moment. The power to make great change in ourself, but also have an effect on the world around us. Now, as Joseph Campbell said, the world's a mess. It's always been a mess. It's not our job to fix the mess. It's a job to fix ourselves. Well, we can tell that when we fix ourselves, that energy goes out and helps uplift other things. So living from the heart, really to me, and this is what Susan talks, whole heart is about having our mind and our heart unified. It's the heart, and this is a quote from Greg Braden, the heart has its own intelligence. It doesn't think, it feels. And it knows things the mind can't comprehend. When we talk about intuition and when miracles happen and things we don't understand, the heart gets it. It feels it. It knows. It's the place where the invisible world, the unseen world, and the physical world meet. And that's what we need to tap into. We need to get to that place where we can feel those messages. We can connect to the heart. Ernest Holmes says, God talks to the heart in the language of feelings. Well, why doesn't God talk in English? I mean, really, feelings are the universal language, and it talks there to us. And our job is to clear that pathway between our head and our heart, because the mind is very, very powerful, as you know. But it analyzes, it judges, it separates, it compares. That's its job. When you mix that with the openness, expansiveness, and wisdom of the heart, you have the whole package. Now, in the busyness of this world, we got to work on that corridor between the heart, the head and the heart, because it's filled. If we haven't healed some of our past, if we don't deal with the emotions that keep us wound up and stuck, if we have regrets and shame filling that passageway, we're going to have a tough time. We got to work on ourselves. And that's why I told you today I have a little self-regulation practice to help us clear that passageway so we can have a more, deal with life in a better way. Let me just say that, because in the busyness of all this chaos, I don't know about you, but when we look at the shootings and we look at the climate change and we look at the divisiveness, I don't see the solution right here in this moment. Do you? There is one. Because this is just a chaotic time in history. These things happen. It's unsustainable. It will not last. It can't. But we have some effect on when we lift it up and make the change. We don't definitely know the how, but we know it will. When we say all will be well, all is well, it's the truth. But we have to do our part. We've got to play our part. And for me, it's that connection that we make to do our part, that we can see the world in a different way, where we respond instead of react from all that stuff, all that congestion we have up here and in that passageway, in the part of the heart that's not the heart that is the soul of existence, the heart that holds the love. It's the place right here that we need to work on. So this is, we're always growing in love, so don't worry, it hasn't stopped. But Rumi, my little buddy Rumi, my 13th century mystic, said, for 60 years, I've been forgetful every minute, but not for a second, not for 1 second, has this love flowing toward me stopped or slowed. So it doesn't matter what's going on. If we take the time to settle in and do our part, we can make the change. We can make the change. It's about our heart, tapping into our heart intelligence. The heart is the hub of all sacred places. Go there and roam. Who does it sound like said that? I'm not going to give you a hint, but most of you know. The heart is the hub of all sacred places. We have to go there and roam. And as Susan was saying, when we get to that place that goes, we find we're so connected to everything. We're just so connected. So the word I want you to think of today, as we're really working on in this living from the heart about connecting and opening ourselves to something more, something greater, is the power of coherence. The power of coherence. Coherence is when all things work together well. We say when all things work together for good, for God, for love, for this and that. It's the same thing. When all things work together, we can do that. We can get all of ourself working together. The power of coherence. Now, what that means is the power of coherence. As we said, everything's connected. I know we've all heard of the butterfly effect. The flapping of wings in one place can be felt on the other side of the world. It's said that a falling leaf, a child suffering, no matter where it is felt by all. We may not know it, but those times we just feel heavy, we feel sad, and we don't really know why. We feel down. It's because we feel the energy of the world. And we want to know, well, what are we going to do when we get to those places? Well, there's things we do to activate the power of coherence. One, as Susan mentioned, is living an authentic life. An authentic life means we're not afraid to tell our hopes and our fears, to share them. Our joys and our tears. We're not afraid. I went in, I don't know who's noticed my very pretty nails, but I wanted to get my nails done this week. And there's a little shop, not fancy or anything. I've been there for years, and it's a happy little place. There's four gals that work there, a very happy place. And it was not very busy, and the owner who does my nails was there, and she goes, "Did you hear about that shooting?" She's always in a happy place, and I could tell she was filled with fear. I said, "Yeah, that's scary." She goes, "Do you know anything about it?" And she was very afraid, and we sat down. She said, "I'm just afraid someone's going to come in here and start shooting." And she's this happy person, but I was there for a reason. I was there, and she felt safe enough. We've never talked on that level before. I mean, we just share little niceties, And I said, you have a really good energy here in your shop. You're kind, you're good, you're happy. I don't see that happening. She was really, really, I said, no. And she asked me some other questions. And then she kept saying, thank you, thank you. It's like being there in the moment for someone else with listening ears. She was brave enough to be authentic. I have a little story, and I shared this once a while ago during service, but it's too good to pass up because it has a dog in it. And it's, again, from Leah Buscalia's book, Born to Love. And I'm going to make a request from everyone today, is that you open up, just open up to a greater giving and receiving of love. And it's hard. But his story is about a class he was teaching, a love class. And a dog came in, just wandered into the classroom. The dog entered the class fearlessly, wagging its tail, wandering among the students, getting all the attention he wanted. The students, of course, responded with pats and hugs and caresses, prompting one of the young ladies in the class to observe dryly, "This is so typical of my life. I've been hurting all evening with loneliness, and not a single person has offered me an understanding touch. A stray dog walks in and is showered with affection. there is something very wrong with that. And a young man near to her said, maybe it's not so crazy. The dog came in and by his actions told us he was open to loving. His message was simple, non-threatening, and clear. You, on the other hand, just sat there, stoically, revealing nothing. We're not mind readers. Sometimes you just gotta speak up, or at least give some hints. Sounds familiar. Now, authenticity and vulnerability all relate to our uniqueness. Ernest Holmes, all the mystics would say we are made in love in the image and likeness of God. That's the stuff from which we're made. But we're all unique. We're all different. And too much of the time in the world today, instead of owning our strengths and our weaknesses and owning who we are, we look at the outside world and we hinge all our happiness, our joy, all of our everything on what's going on out there. Do any of you do that? And on out there. And if things are going good out there, guess what? We're good. But when they're not good out there, what happens? We're not good. When we have within us, remember that heart and the energy and the power, where we can go there anytime. So I have a little process of self-regulation that will get us into that coherency of the heart and the mind. It's very simple. You can do it. You should do it every day just to make sure you're in touch. But it starts out where you're going to, first of all, touch your heart. Now, sometimes in different studies, that you can put your, a prayer sign, you can put your whole hand on your heart, but even if you just touch your heart like that, because our awareness and our attention goes where we feel the pressure. So we want to feel that we're focusing on opening our heart. And this goes so you can respond to situations from a different place. So you put your hand there, and then you're just going to breathe to get in the flow of life. So I'm just going to do it. You want to breathe in. You want to inhale longer than you exhale. So we're going to just 3 times breathe into the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You may have to do that a few more times until you feel more peaceful, but just do that until you feel a peace. And then plant in your heart a thought of gratitude. Plant in your heart a thought of gratitude, a thought of love, a thought of kindness, a thought of joy, whatever it is that's up for you, a feeling that is good, a feeling that connects the mind and the heart in an energy of goodness. And then that's what you do. You do that at least 3 minutes a day just to get connected, just to make sure. So when you get into a situation that's difficult, have any of you had any of those this week? Okay, don't put your fingers up and tell me how many. Yeah, so you can respond to it. You can see it with those invisible eyes. You can see it with eyes that are much deeper than the physical eyes. You see beyond the situation, so you can bring understanding and caring to that situation. Now, this is the 4th Sunday of the month, and it is our Prayer Wall Sunday. I want you to, when we do our studies in practitioner work, we always, yes, we have a systematic way we pray in religious science. It's very potent and good. God is all there is. We are one with God. We know the truth. We accept that it's so, and so it is. We just know that. But the most important part of the prayer is the feeling, because feelings are prayers. So when you come up, I'd like our ministers and practitioners to form a wall here of prayer. And when you come up to get your prayer, I want you to accept something good in your life. Just go, this isn't about a story. This is about I accept healing. I accept love. I accept forgiveness. I accept understanding. I accept joy, whatever it is. So if the practitioners and ministers would please get up. And we are on a bit of a time schedule, so I'm also asking, it's the length of the prayer doesn't matter, it's the intention behind the prayer. So I know all of our practitioners and ministers do this quickly and easily and respond with just the truth that they know. And I know that we all have the courage to take the next step, to be more authentic and more vulnerable, to love life the way it is. A beautiful French poet said, "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we're afraid." "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't, we might fall." "Come to the edge," he said. They came, he pushed, they flew. It's time for us to flap our wings in love, in light, in goodness. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I love you all, and so it is.